them, the public, that they are the victims of corruption, and so they do not have a choice of doing nothing about it and being mere observers, but they must join the war for their own survival. We have also identified that the religious structures run very deep from the top, from archdiocese, from the mufti, down to the cell, up to the households and to individuals. We have also identified the third structure as the cultural structure, which runs down from cultural heads to the households. Through these structures, we shall inform Ugandans that this financial year, Ugandans are expected to raise 48 trillion shillings through taxes, through loans and grants, to do all the things that the President promised in his budget speech, but that the leeches are waiting to steal out of that about 10 trillion shillings of it. So Ugandans will end up shortchanged as usual unless they do something about it, and unless we work together to stop the leeches by being open-eyed and reporting all cases of corruption. The reporting will help in prevention, investigation, prosecution, and recovery of stolen funds. The Inspectorate of Government and our partners, those that I have listed above, including civil society and all players, we have a robust plan to deal with corruption this year. But as a God-fearing nation, we have all agreed to place God at the center of the war against corruption in management of the 2022-23 anti-corruption campaign. And we are going to launch our fight with the national inter-denominational prayers against corruption. The national interdenominational prayers against corruption is a collaborative effort between the Inspectorate of Government and the Inter-Religious Council of Uganda.
We are not going to pray so that the country can be cursed. No. Our Lord Jesus Christ said, "I have not come to condemn, but that everyone may be able to be saved, to receive life and receive it in abundance." But what we are about is the fact that unless we change, we are going to curse ourselves. A country that takes a wrong direction curses itself, and in the process, it loses its own life. So our praying and our preaching is directed against everyone in our country, so that people become aware that unless we change, unless the way of corruption is mended and another direction is taken, we are cursing ourselves as a nation. How? Because there are many who are being deprived of these services, and the gap between the rich and the poor increases. But the poor continue to cry out to God against those who are depriving them of what is due to them. In that way, the curse comes to the nation and those who are responsible for depriving services to where they are supposed to be. And when we preach against corruption, we preach against evil. That is our work, to bring the good news to all people so that they may know the right way of living and they may follow the way of God, the way of the Lord, a way which gives peace, joy, and happiness to individuals. If you take a wrong route, an evil way, you are never happy. You may be very rich, you may have a lot of things, a lot of money, but in the process, you are not happy because the channel through which you acquired that wealth is not proper. Interestingly enough, God has created us as human beings and put a voice within us. That voice tells us what is good and what is bad, what is right and what is wrong. And that continues to cry out when you go the wrong direction. Our collaboration with the IGG government is always open. We as religious leaders cooperate with the government for the good of our nation, so that programs that benefit the people can reach them, they can be realized, and lives can be uplifted. People, the way the standard of living in our country can be lifted up, and people can benefit from that. Lamentation and solutions. People suffer from a lack of knowledge. People do wrong things because sometimes they don't know. But through prayer and our preaching, people get to know what they have to do and be aware of the evil that is going on and what evil they may be involved in. And so I think by praying and preaching, we are reaching out to the people and giving them what is good for them and what they're supposed to know and which direction they have to take in their lives.
Since we took office, 8 months now, we have recovered 12.6 billion shillings. And we have also confiscated property, or some people have ceded property to the Inspectorate of Government. We recovered 9 billion from Maif, 1.2 billion from Ubos. Property, we've confiscated property, 1.4 billion, and others about 2 billion. So we are into 13 billion, and we have promised government that if we are properly facilitated, it is possible for the Inspectorate of Government to recover over 100 billion in a year, and we shall do it.
Women